See, by default, for all methods that returns a value, a mock will return either null, primitive, or their own wrappers, right? That we discussed earlier also. But in case of stubbing, we can override. We can override the return value. And if you see this example here, what we are doing is we are configuring the mock with some configuration where we are specifying what it should return. So by default, get will return, you see, get 0. And we want it to return first. So you are doing stubbing here of this first. Similarly, you want to now specify, exception. If you see mock list.get 1, then throw new runtime exception. Following the print, and if you see follow throw runtime, you will see what actually it does. Follow print null. If you are not specifying anything here, get was not stubbed. Here it is being stubbed by using then return, then throw. But here it is not being stubbed. So it returns null because your list takes an object. And finally, you are verifying, though you can verify, like earlier, but here we are just verifying 1. So this is how you can stub returns for the methods that you want. So this is how you will be stubbing. So 3-4 things that you understood from here is then return, then throw, and also if you go to the previous slide, the first configuration that you did, you use then return through Boolean. Apart from Boolean, now in this case, we are returning a string, we are returning an exception by using then throw. So when then return, then throw, all these are static methods provided to you by Mockito in order to handle mocks by stubbing and by using your own stub configurations. But remember one thing, the order of stubbing matters, but it is only meaningful rarely. When stubbing exactly the same method calls, or sometimes when argument matchers are used, then probably ordering will be important. Okay, so if someone is asking you, can you stub a mock call? Yes, I can stub. I can return what we want instead of, depending on the default. Default is null or object. Here we are returning what? A string. Next is argument matcher. See, for argument matcher, what do we mean by argument? Argument means what actually we are passing, what actually we are passing to our methods, right? Which are candidates for mock behavior. That is what is argument, right? Now, in case of Mockito facilitates you with something called as matchers. And what is objective of matcher, or what is matcher? So basically matchers are wildcards where instead of a specific input or even output, what you do, you pass a range type of input and output, which are based on the stub spice that actually will be using in the rest of the calls. And remember one thing, all matchers are part of Mockito static class. So, frequently used element is something called as matcher because it provides extra flexibility that is required when actually you go and do matching of your argument. Now, if you carefully see the code, you will be able to see various different matchers which are there. See, matchers can be used for 2 important things. One is you will be using argument matchers during stub setup. Second, you will be using verification matchers to verify actual calls that are made to stub. And there are huge set of matchers which are provided. Some of the popular matchers are there here, which you can see. If you see this part is common, you are using linked list instead of list now. Test, stubbing using built-in any int argument matcher. So any int means what? Any type of integer. That is what is meaning of any int. Now, if you have any int, you will have any Boolean, you will have any byte, you will have any string, you will have any double, you will have any float, you have any list, right? Now, all of these except any object of the corresponding data type will return null. So if you see this, when mock list.get any type, so it refers to what? Any int refers to what? Any integer. I don't care, right? Dot then return element. You can use custom matchers also. For example, this is valid is a method that you have written. It's a custom matcher that you have created. You see here at the bottom, you have private t argument matcher is valid, return new argument matcher, and this is what matches return false, return true, whatever you want to write in your matcher, you can write here. And you are calling here your own matcher, but for that you are writing arg that. So you are actually using custom matcher is valid to configure your stub. Following prints element, this will print the element. You can also verify using any argument matcher. See, you are verifying get any int instead of just get passing value. You are using get any int. Verify mockTest.add asks that something dot length. This is lambda expression in Java if you are aware about it. And then finally verify mockList.clear, and this is your custom matcher. So primary objective of matcher is to ensure that you are able to specify what value range you are expecting. So you are using get, you are using contains, you are using add, you are using clear. All these are methods of linked list, and you are specifying appropriate arguments that you want this to match. You can be specific. If you don't want to be specific, if you want to specify a scope, you have to go and you have to use built-in argument matcher or some argument matchers which are provided by various other frameworks like Hamcrest and others. So there are multiple different flexibilities that are added to your Mockito, which helps you to mock behaviors and provide functionality that is needed by dependents to proceed further with testing without any showstopper in form of dependents. See, get requires argument. Now here you can pass specific or you can pass argument matcher. So let me go and write code in order to explain you how actually it works. And show, I'll go to my box. This is my box. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going and writing here new class arg matcher sample test finish. I'll do some copy paste because we have been using it, so just copy some things and I'll paste in my, so that quickly we can write the test and see. Now, after writing this, if you see in verify list, what we did, we just started directly with the method, right? We'll write the method here. And now it's all about testing the methods of mock list. So let's go and, assume that order of calls to list method were in a particular sequence. People are calling get, size, get. I mean, they're calling it in a particular sequence. So let's first arrange it. So to arrange, what we will do, we'll use when mocked list dot get. You see, I can use here any int. Now this is what is matcher, you see. Dot. So anyone is passing whatever they want. I'm saying then return 30. So this is the first one. And after get, let me call another method. And that method can be, you say when, again mocked list dot size dot, it's taking little time, then return. Right. So we have used this. Now let's go. This is something called as arrange. We have configured. This is configuration. of mock. After this, we'll make the calls, and that call will be called as action. Now, what action I'm going to take is simple. I'll just say, get this, then return 30. And this is returning 100. 100 is nothing but is the size, right? So what I will do is I will go and I will write int output equal to mocked. It's taking time when I'm typing, it's a bit slow. Dot get. And I'm passing here 5. Same int size I will do equal to mocked list int dot size. Now I'm not passing any value here. And I will take final output with a different value. See, mocked int list dot get, and I'll pass here 2. So if you see int output equal to mocked int list get int size, and then I'm making the call. So if you see, I'm making the call in a particular sequence here, right? 5 size and then get 2. What about verification now? Understand one thing, that when we talk about verification of mocked interaction, you need to ensure that the order in which the method on the mocked object are called in the same order, you'll be actually, verifying as well, right? Now, what all I can verify, you see. I want to verify invocation sequence. That's what is my objective. And I want to verify when actually it was called. That's what is our objective. So now what we will do is we will go and we will take in order. You see, it's a class for invocation. I'll say mock invocation sequence. I'll take sequence equal to mockito. I'll take mockito class because this is again a static method in order. And what object I want to ensure that comes in a particular order, invocation, I mean, it comes in a particular order, right? I can bind the order in which I want invocation to happen. So what I'll do, okay, I want to ensure that order is followed by my object, and that object is mocked int list. This is what is there. I will make it the first statement after arrange. See, I'll make it here. So I'm specifying that, see, I want invocations to be in a particular order. And what order that you are specifying here. And then finally you can go and you can verify using asserts. So what I will do, I will say, okay, let me go and verify. Control C, Control V, dot verify. You have verified. What you want to verify? I want to verify whether my mock, whose name is mock int list, has been called how many times. I want only once to be called. Dot what call? Get. And I'll pass here any int. Right. So these are the ways in which you can go and you can actually even count how many times they have been called. 1 second, I'll just go and say one extra here. It's clear, right? Now, same thing you will do for other calls also that you have specified here. I'll just go and copy paste these 3 calls. If I don't want to use this, I can just go and say get time any int. This is fine because get size get to. Let's deviate from the sequence. Okay. And then finally, I am going to make call to size. So let's go and see what is the outcome of this. See, what is objective? Number of times and the sequence. Okay, that is what is objective. Okay, so what is our objective? We have configured the mock. We want actions to be called in a particular order for which we have specified in order. Then we are taking the action, and then we are verifying whether those actions were there in that particular order or not. That's what we are doing. So you get facility of stubbing, you get facility of controlling returns, you get facility of verifying whether call was made or not. You are getting facility of how many times call was made. You are also getting facility of controlling the sequence in which interaction has occurred. I'll just go and run it. Now you see, it says verification in order failure. Now I'll correct the order. I'll go and I'll correct the order. I'll say Control X here. And I'll go and I will paste it here. So now size is between two gets. Let's go and execute it once again. I'll just right click, run as JUnit test. So at least order should be fine now. See, it passed. So my objective here was to make you aware that the argument matters, but there are matchers which you can use in order to cover huge scope of values like any int, any string, any double, any boolean, any object. All these are there. Apart from that, using Mockito, you can control how many times that mock behavior was called. You can restrict number of times, that it should be called. Right, all that can be done. So you have here times. So what all are there which you can use apart from times? Let me write another. Mock invocation sequence dot verify. What I want to verify? Mocked list. For what I want? At least. See, you have now at least also. See, at least. Number of invocations. I'll say at least one invocation is what I'm expecting. So it's up to us how we are utilizing the API in order to control the sequence, in order to control number of times it is called. Right now I'll comment this. I'll take this. I'll comment this as well. I will cut it from here. I'll paste it here. Now if you see, I have specified at least one. Let me run it. Right, so it is saying verification in order failed because this is what is invoked. At least one. Wanted but not invoked. So whatever is there invocation action, that has to be there. Okay. So I'll just go and I will uncomment this. Again, it failed. Verification by size. Okay, it has to be times only because it is one. At least changes also. Okay, so there are different combination. I'll provide you that, but I guess that you are now aware how actually you will be controlling the sequence. Okay, so at least, at max, you will have times. All these are there. This might be failing because of some other reason, because we have forcefully said in order, get size, get size, get. So if we have to mandatorily use times here, because that's what is our use case, right? It has to be organized in the same way where it fits to at least and all. So here it will be times only. But if you have multiple invocations in this, you can go and you can control. So fundamental objective here was to help you in understanding 3-4 important things. One is configure. Second is decide whether you want a sequence of invocations. Third, action, make calls, and verify your calls. These are the things that actually you have to keep in mind, specifically from perspective of Mockito framework. So if you will use at least 3-4, and if your invocations are less, you will get other exceptions that it is too little actual invocations or too much actual invocation. These are the things that you will be getting. Now this we have seen times. Apart from times, you have at least, at most. If you see you are using mocks,
And following two verification works exactly the same. Times 1 is used by default. Dot add times 1 add exactly number of invocation. You are saying exact number, how many times you want. Never. If you want something to be never called, you can see this. Then at least, at most, all these are there, which are used in order to control a number of invocations that you want for a particular mocked behavior in your current test case. So now you are aware about how do we create mock, how do we control it using when then return, when then throws, right? Stubbing using argument matchers, controlling invocation sequence, controlling number of times invocations has been done. All these are there, which actually helps you to create the structure or skeleton. Now, rest heavily depends on what is the dependency behavior that actually you want to mock. What is the need of dependent that you need to ensure that you are providing a mock object which meets need of dependents so that they can carry on with their testing. That's what is your objective, and this is something which is pretty dependent on the logic that actually you are using.